Hi there, Mr. Muhammed is here. Throughout this video, we are going to solve all the questions in this checkpoint past paper. This is 2018 April, paper 1. This paper is without calculator. All the questions should be done without using electronic calculator. So let's start. Question 1. Here is the rule for these number grids. The first one is just like an example. 10 plus 15 is equal to 25. The question gives you this piece of information. Add two top numbers to get the number below. 10 plus 15 is 25. So let's follow this procedure to the part A. Which number plus negative 8 will be equal to negative 3? So it is positive 5. How positive 5? One is positive, one is negative. You're going to subtract the numbers. 8 minus 5 is 3. Which one is greater, 8 or 5? 8 is greater, so the 3 will have the sign as the 8. So it's positive 5. Correct. B. This time we have fractions. Whenever we have fractions and we have to add or subtract them, we need to find the common denominator. So here we have 1 over 8 plus 3 over 4. The common denominator for 8 and 4 is 8 plus 8 here. This one is already 8. We don't need to change anything. And for this one, think how 4 becomes 8 times 2 times 2. Then 4 times 2 is 8. 3 times 2 is 6. This number is just 1 because we don't need to make any change for this fraction. Now, since we have the same denominator, simply just add the numbers in the top. 7 over 8 is the answer in the located place. Question 2, here are two books. Book A, 500 pages. Book B, 360 pages. Lily reads 32% of book A. Safia reads 40% of book B. Okay, to find 32% of 500 pages, 32% of 500, because this one is for book A, 32% of 500 is like 32 times 500, then divide the result by 100, that gives 160. Or you can simply remove two zeros, then 5 times 32 is 160. For Safia, 40% of 360 is equal to 144. Simply, if you want to do this percentage without calculator, you can say cancel two zeros, doesn't matter. 4 times 36 is 144, and here cancel two zeros. 32 times 5 is 160. Now the question says tick to show who reads the most pages. Of course, Lily reads most pages. You must show your work. We did. This is enough. A bottle of juice holds 1.5 liters. Ahmed pours all the juice into glasses. He pours 250 milliliters into each glass. The most important thing in this question, here we have milliliter, and here we have liter. So we must change the liter to milliliter, then we deal with the question. Here, 1.5 liter is 1,500 milliliters. So how many 250s are in 1,500? You can mentally calculate 250, or you can use division. 1,500 divide by 250, then cancel a zero in each side. 150 divided by 25, it gives 6. So how many glasses? A teacher asks her class to work out the answer to 8 plus 12 divided by 4. Mike says that the answer is 5. He is wrong. Explain why Mike is wrong. Okay, whenever we see more than one operation, we have to use laws laws of arithmetic or order of operations, the rules of arithmetic. So according to the order of operations, division should be done before addition. Division should be done before addition. Now, 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3. The addition stays with 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. The actual answer for this problem is 11. So Mike got 5. It means Mike is wrong. What's the mistake that he made? The mistake is you can simply write he did the addition before the division, or he didn't follow the laws of arithmetic. That would be enough. Question 5. Triangle A is shown in the diagram. Okay, this is triangle A. And the question is about congruence. Congruent has some rules. Two triangles are congruent if they have all the sides equal SSS, or if they have two sides with the angle between them equal, or if they have two angles with the side between them equal, or if they have all angles equal. These are the only 4 cases of congruence. Now, we have this triangle. This angle is 75. This angle is 57. The side is 4.9. The side is 4.3. Now, how big is this side? We have to add these two. 57 plus 75. 57 plus 75. 5 plus 7 is 12. 2 here, 1 there. 5 plus 7 is 12 again, plus 1 is 32. Now 180 minus 132. This one is addition, this one is subtraction. 10 minus 2, this is 0, 0 minus 2 is impossible. Then you will say 10. 10 minus 2 is 8, this 8 became 7 because this 0 became 10. 7 minus 3 is 4, 1 minus 1, 0. This angle is 48. Now, we need to check up these angles and the sides to these triangles. Okay, this triangle, it has 4.3, 75, 4.9. The same order, 4.3, 75, 4.9. So, this triangle is congruent. Why? Because it has two sides that are equal to these two sides and the angle between the sides. This triangle is not, because there is no any 38. This triangle is not. This triangle, yes, it has two angles that are exactly as these two angles and the side between them. Look, 48, 75, and the side between them, 4.9. So this triangle is also congruent to the one in the question. This one is not congruent because the side, which is opposite the 75 degree, is not 4.3. But here, the side which is opposite the 7.5 degree is 4.3. Which makes this triangle not to be congruent with the one in the question, because the side opposite is 7.5. Here, we don't know how long is this side, but it shouldn't be 4.3. Done, we got two congruent triangles. And as a hint, since two triangles are congruent, look, the question is out of 2 marks. You can depend on this. Work out 1.5 times 0.8. Whenever you have decimals, just multiply them as there is no any point. It's like 15 times 8. Multiply them out. 5 times 8 is 40. 0 here, 4 there. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12. Once you get the answer, now look at the question again. How many numbers are after point? Here we have 1 number after the decimal point, and here 2. So we have 2 numbers after point. In the answer, 2 numbers must go after point. 1, 2. Done. So the actual answer is 1.20. Here, 15 divided by 0.06. Whenever you have division of decimal numbers, the best way is to make the decimal part, sometimes both parts are decimal, change them to whole numbers. How? Look at it. How many numbers are after point? 2. Here we have 2 numbers after the decimal point. So it means we need to multiply both sides by 100. Multiply both sides by 100. 15 times 100, it will be 1500. Divide by, since this number has 2 decimal places, when you multiply it by 100, the decimal part will go away. Now we just have this simple problem. 1500 divided by 6. To do this, you can simply follow the long division. That gives 250. 1500 divided by 6 is 250. It means 15 divided by 0.06 is also 250. The answer is 250. This is a good question. There are 280 students in year 10. Half of the students are boys. 155 of the students get a grade of A, B, C, or D in the mathematics test. 61 girls get a grade of D, E, or F. Complete this table. We know the total is 280, and the question says half of the students are boys. So it means half of this 280 are boys, means 140 are boys. And 155 of the students get a grade of A, B, or C. Since in this part it doesn't mention boys or girls, so it means this is the total. 155 of the students get grades A, B, or C. So this 155 is the total of this 155. Then what else is given? 61 girls. So this is the column of DEF, and for the girls, this 61 comes here. Now let's use these clues to find out the missing cells. Now 155 plus which number will be 280? So obviously 280 minus 155 is equal to 125. Here, half of the students are boys. It means the other half are girls, and 140 plus 140 is 280. Done. Now we can find this one. Which number plus 61 will be 140? 140 minus 61 obviously is equal to 79. And now how can we find these two? We cannot use this 140 because 2 cells are missing in this row. Let's use this column. 79 plus which number will add up to 155? So 155 minus 79 is equal to 76. And 125 minus 61 is equal to 64. To check that, 76 plus 64 is equal to 140. So everything is complete. A student is chosen at random from year 10. Write down the probability that the student is a girl with a grade DEF. So girl and grade DEF is right here. Girl and grade DEF is here. So it is 61 out of the total, which is 280. The answer of part B is 61 over 280. Here is an expression, 3a plus 4 plus 7b. Okay, then tick the third term in this expression. Okay, this is obvious. This is the first term, this is the second term, this is the third term. The question doesn't mention any simplifying, so the third term is 7b. 7b is the third term in this expression. Use the laws of arithmetic to write numbers in the boxes to make these calculations correct. 4.5 times 8 is equal to 4.5 times 2 times 2 times another number. Since the 4.5 is on both sides, so just ignore the 4.5. Try to make 8 using these numbers. 2 times 2 is 4, so 4 times 2 will bring the 8 back. So now they are equal, 4.5, 4.5 times 8, and this one 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, so on both sides we have 4.5 times 8. Here 8.84 times 25 is equal to 8.84 times 100 divided by a number. Then 8.84 is on both sides, simply just ignore it. Now try to make 25 using this number. 100 divided by 4 will be equal to 25. Done. 6.8 is repeated on both sides. Ignored. Now we need to make 5. Which number divided by 2 makes 5? Factorize completely. Factorize completely. Look at them. We have x, it's common on both sides. So here is an x as the common factor. And between the numbers, 2 is common because 6 is divisible by 2 and 2 is also divisible by 2. Then if we take out 2x from this, what's remaining is only x. The minus doesn't change. And we divided the 6 by 2, what's remaining is only 3. Why there is no x? Because this x is power 1 and it's outside. This x was to the power of 2, that's why 1x is out. If we multiply this 2x by inside the brackets, again we will get these terms. So this is a quick check to your answer. 2x times x, it will be 2x squared. 2x times 3 will be 6x, and the negative will be just copy it. Done. B. Make R the subject of the equation. Make R the subject means we need to have R alone on a side of the equation. Doesn't matter which side. Okay, the first step is we're going to expand the brackets. 2 times R will be 2R minus 2 times 4 is 8. Now we need to have R alone on a side. Then what's the opposite of minus 8? It's plus 8 to both sides. Plus 8, plus 8. Now on this side we will have h plus 8, which is equal to 2r. Now we want to get rid of this 2. Then how can we get rid of this 2? We're going to divide both sides by 2. Then that's how it looks. H plus 8 divided by 2 is equal to r. We just got r alone on a side. That's where the question wants. Now r is equal to h plus 8 over 2. Here is a division. 7.1 divided by 8 is equal to 0.8. A missing digit 7.5. To do this, it's better to use long division. Then let's do it. 7.1 is divided by 8. How many 8s are in 7? There is no. Then we have to put 0 point, and this point will go away. This point will be just cancelled. Now we have 71. How many 8s are in 71? 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72. We don't want 72 because it's more than 71. Then we go back to 8. 8 times 8, 64. Subtracted. 71 minus 64 is equal to 7. 71 minus 64 is equal to 7. Now, since we have decimal point, it's okay to add zeros whenever you need it. Because we don't have any 8 in 7, we added a 0 here. So, how many 8s are in 70? Again, 8. So, we got the missing digit, it's 8. But let's continue to check if we are on a right track or not. Again, 8 times 8, 64. Subtracted. 70 minus 64 is equal to 6. Since we have decimal point, it's okay to put 0 whenever we need it. How many 8s are in 60? It is 7. Why 7? Because 8 times 8 is 64. It's more than 60. 8 times 7 is 56. It's just correct. We got 8. The missing number is 8, 7. And if we subtract these two, it will be 4. Then it will be 40. 8s in 40 are 5. So it's correct. The square or the missing number is 8. Here's a road sign in the USA, drawing around the distance in kilometers. So 10 miles, nearly 1 mile. 1 mile nearly is 1.6 kilometer. So when the mile is 10, 1.6 times 10, 16. There are 96 children in a room. 40 of them are girls. Find the fraction of the children that are boys. Write your answer in its simplest form. Okay, 96 children. 40 of them are girls. It means 96 minus 40 is equal to 56 of them are boys. The fraction of boys is 56 out of 96. Since 56 and 96 are both divisible by 2, then we can divide them by 2 to make them simpler. Divide 2, divide 2. You can straight away divide them by 8, but no, whenever you see two even numbers, just keep dividing them until you get the simplest form. 56 divided by 2 is 28, and 96 divided by 2 is 48. Now as you see, 28 and 48 are both divisible by 4. Divide 4, divide 4. We must divide by the same number to simplify fractions. 28 divided 4 is 7. 48 divided 4 is 12. 7 and 12. We cannot divide both of them by 2. We cannot divide both of them by 3, by 4. So it means this is the simplest form. 7 over 12. Expand and simplify. Expanding brackets, we're going to multiply the x by both terms in the other bracket. Then we multiply -2 by both terms. And then we see how many like terms will we have. X times x is x squared. X times 8 is 8x. Why positive? Because the 8 is positive and the x is also positive. Now the x is done. We multiplied x by both. Now let's move on to the -2. -2 times x will be -2x. -2 times 8 will be -16. Now, how many like terms are there? This is 8x, this is -2x. This is x squared, there is no any other x squared, so x squared is in the answer. 8x with -2x will be 6x, and this is the constant part, 16, this is the number. There is no any other number to be added or subtracted with the 16. Done. X squared plus 6x minus 16. Plessy collects information to investigate this statement. Boys in my school play more sports each week than girls. Tick the two items that are most relevant to her investigation. Age of the student, age doesn't matter. Gender of the student, yes. She needs to check that the person who answers is a boy or a girl. Time spent doing, yes, she must know that. To check, do boys play more sports than girls? Favorite sport, it doesn't matter. Lacey collects data from 10 of her friends. Explain why she may not get reliable results from her data. Then, because she doesn't ask a lot of students, so simply we can say all of her friends could be girls, or all of her friends could be in the same level. No, she have to ask as much as she can, different levels, different ages, to make her investigation more relevant. Write down the value of the square root of 225. If you memorize it, it's 15. If you don't, there are some indirect ways to investigate it. You know 10 times 10 is 100, so the square root of 100 is 10. And 20 times 20 is 400. The square root of 400 is 20. Since 225 is something between 100 and 400, then the result is something between 10 and 20. Then you can start by multiplying 11 times 11, which is 121, 12 times 12, 144, 13 times 13, 169. So 14 times 14, 196. 15, multiply 15 by 15, you will get to 225. That gives you the answer. Draw a ring around the best estimate to the cube root of 100. Cube root. Cube root means if you multiply any of these numbers by itself 3 times, you have to get, the question says estimation, you have to get something too close to 100. 3.2 times 3.2 times 3.2, it will be equal to 10 times 10 times 10, it will be 1000, so it's not the correct answer. 33 times 33, it will be way bigger than 100, and 3.2, 32.70. Anyway, it's not close to 100. What's remaining is 4.6, and if you check 4.6 times 4.6, 4.6 times 4.6 is 21.16, and times one more 4.6, that gives nearly 97.33, which is the best estimation in this group. This is a good question. Whenever you multiply a number with a decimal number by powers of 10, so you just get this much zeros, or you release this much numbers from the decimal part. Then there are 3 numbers after point. These 3 numbers after point will take 3 from this 5. What's remaining is just 2. Then if we release these 3 numbers after point, it will be 36 with 2 zeros because of this 2. And why this 5 became 2? Because here we have 3 numbers after point. 3 numbers will take 3 from the 5. Now, whenever you multiply numbers with negative powers, so you're going to send this much numbers after point. So this is negative 2. 2 numbers must go after point, 4.70. And here, whenever we divide by negative powers, remember this, whenever we divide by negative powers, we will get this much zeros, or we release this much numbers from after point to before point. So 2 with 4 zeros. Term to term rule of a sequence is multiply by 3. The fourth term of the sequence is 54. Work out the first term. So for such questions, it's important to make the structure of the sequence. So we have the first term. If we multiply it by 3, we will get the second term. And if we multiply this by 3, we will get the third term. And if we multiply this by 3, we will get 54, which is given in the question. Now what if we go back? If we go back, we have to divide by 3. Go back, again divide by 3. Go back, divide by 3. 54 divided by 3 is 18. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 is the first term. Let's check. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 18. 18 times 3 54. So it's correct. The first term is 2. A bath has a volume of 0.25 meter cubed. Convert this 0.25 meter cube to centimeter cube. Whenever you have conversions like this for square units, for cubic units, follow these steps. We start with the first one. 1 meter is 100 centimeters. No one has problem with this. But when the meter becomes square, so this 100, because of this tiny 2 here, must be repeated twice. So 1 meter square is 100 times 100, 10,000 centimeters square. When the meter becomes cube, this 100 must be multiplied by itself 3 times. So 1 meter cube is 100 times 100 times 100. That gives 1 million centimeter cube. The question doesn't have 1 meter. The question has 0.25. So it means we need to divide this by 4 to get 0.25 meters. Then 1 million divided by 4 is 250,000 centimeter cube. Work out the volume of m in this calculation. M to the power of -2 could be written as 1 over m to the power of 2, which is equal to 1 over 9. In this equation, we see the numerators are the same, 1, 1, m squared, 9. So 1, of course, is equal to 1. M squared is equal to 9. Think. M squared is equal to 9. Which number power 2 will be 9? It's 3. Because 3 power 2 is 3 times 3, which is 9. The diagram shows on a grid this triangle. Then let's see what should we do with this triangle. Reflect the triangle A in the line y equals 2. The line y equals 2 is right here, is the line of y equals 2, because this is the y-axis and here is 2 on the y-axis. If we reflect this triangle, we're going to reflect one point, and throughout the point we can get the other points. I see this method is the easiest. This point is 3 steps away from the mirror line. So on the other side of the mirror line, count 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. Plot the point down. Now, this point is 4 steps away from this one. So we need 4 steps from here to there. And remember, whenever you count steps, we count the spaces. We don't count these vertical lines. The other point is 2 steps away from this one, so go down 2 steps. Now we got all the vertices of this triangle by joining them. But in the exam, remember to use ruler and draw your drawing. Okay, we marked it B. Then reflect triangle B in the line x equals 1. X equals 1 is right here. So we need to reflect the triangle through this line. This point is 2 steps away from this line, so count 2 steps. Plot the first point down. We can do point by point to all the corners of the triangle, or we can just reflect one point and then get the others out from this point. This point, this vertex is 4 steps away from this one, so it goes like this, 4 steps, and the other one 2 steps. Join them and mark this. Then the question says triangle C is rotated to go back on A. What is the center of the rotation? As you see, the rotation is 180 degrees. The shape became upside down, so of course it's 180 degrees. And the center of this rotation, when the rotation is 180 degrees, we can get the center by joining each corner to its corresponding one, and then see where all the lines collide. The lines collide here in 1 and 2. So this is the center of rotation. By joining these two corners, you see this point is exactly halfway between them. Join these two corners, you see again it passes through this one, and join these two, again it passes through this point where you see the lines collide. The diagram shows some two-dimensional shapes. The first one is done. Shape A has 2 lines of symmetry and rotational symmetry of order 2. Shape B, we cannot cut this triangle into 2 identical parts, so it has 0 lines of symmetry, 0 lines of symmetry, and rotational symmetry is 1. Shape C, parallelogram has no line of symmetry and it has rotational symmetry too. So 0 line of symmetry and 2 rotational symmetry. Shape D, it has 1 line of symmetry because we can cut it into 2 identical parts vertically, and it has order 1 rotational symmetry because if we rotate the shape only once we see this. But if we rotate the parallelogram twice, we see the exact same shape. The original one is the first, and after 2 rotations, again we see the same shape. Draw a 2-dimensional shape on the grid that has 4 lines of symmetry and 4 rotational symmetry. So simply it's a square. Any square has 4 lines of symmetry and order 4 rotational symmetry. The lines with the equations are shown on the grid. Okay. Then we need to solve 2 of them simultaneously. Before we solve them, we need to match the equations to the lines. The best way to match linear equations to the lines is like this. Choose a variable here and a number. Remember, the variable and the number, each one must be on a side of the equation. They cannot be on the same side. Here we cannot say x is 4, but we can say 2y is 4. What about just 1y? It's 2. So the first equation has this graph, brown. Let's choose another color. For the second equation, 2y is equal to 8. What about just 1y? It's equal to 4. So the second equation is the orange one. The third equation, say, for this one, it's okay to choose x because x is on the left side and the number, which is 10, is on the right side. But here we cannot say x is equal to 8 because the x and the number are on the same side. But here, since the x and the number are not on the same side, we can say 2x is equal to 10, then x is equal to 5. 5 is right here between 4 and 6. Or we can simply say y is equal to 10. So y is 10. This line belongs to this equation. Once we match the graphs to the equations, then solving any of these simultaneously will be an easy process. Now we have 2x plus y equals 10, 2y equals x plus 4. It means it's between these two, this line, the line of the 10 and the line of the 2. Where they cross is the solution of the simultaneous equations. Where they cross, if we zoom this in, you see this line is 3, it's 3.2. The x of the solution is 3.2, x is 3.2, and the y where they cross is right here, so this is 3, 3.2, 3.4, 3.6. Solution of simultaneous equations must give you like two numbers, one for x and one for y. X 3.2, y 3.6, done. Draw the line of 2x plus y is equal to 6. To draw this, we basically draw a table. 2, 3 numbers are enough. This is x. You are free whatever you write instead of x. And this is y. We're going to work out the y's. If we put 0 in place of x, we will get 2 times 0 is 0. Y will be equal to 6. If we put, let's say, 3, you are free whatever you choose for x. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus y is equal to 6, so it means the y is 0. And if we put 1 in place of x, 2 times 1 is 2, y must be 4 to complete 6. Now let's plot these, 0, 6, and 3, 0. 0, 6 is here, 0 in x, 6 in y, and 3, 0, 3 is right between 2 and 4. Join these 2 points, it will be the line of this equation. Look, you will get the graph of the ratio of boys to girls in a school is 4 to 3. One day, 18 girls were absent. This represents 5% of all the girls in the school. Calculate the total number of students in the school. Okay, firstly, let's get the total number of girls. Then we will use the ratio to get the total number of boys. To do this, the question says 18 girls are 5% of the whole girls. So we write the problem like this. 5% of which number is 18? Or 5 times which number is equal to 1,800? Why 1,800? Because there is no percentage anymore. Of means multiplication. There is no the percentage sign. This one gains 2 zeros. Then 1,800 divided by 5 is equal to 360. So in this school there are 360 girls. This is the total number of girls. Now the ratio is 4 to 3. Now we know on the girls side, because boys to girls, the first number belongs to the boys, the second number belongs to the girls. The number of girls are 360. Now how 3 becomes 360? If we multiply it by 120, we just got the scale. If we multiply 4 by 120, we will get 480. Now we have the total number of girls, the total number of boys. Add them. In the school there are 840 students. 840 students altogether. And the lucky last question is about the area of the shaded region. The shaded region, as you see, it's a rectangle. The question says write an expression in terms of x for the total shaded area. You don't have to find the area exactly, you just have to write something to represent the area. To represent the area of rectangle, we usually use length times width. The length of this rectangle, the length, this much is x, this much is 5, so the length is x plus 5. This is the length times the width, this much is x. The width, we should cut off 3 from the x to get the width. So x minus 3 is the width. The question says expression, we must not put any equal. What does this equal to? We don't know and we don't want to know, and you don't have to find it because you can't. This is the expression. I hope you find it helpful. Thank you for watching.